been a while since we've had a long podcast, but we decided that we should stuff in a few of our post-game reactions all into one. And we're going to start off pissed off because we're Leafs fans. And even though we're winning, we're still going to get pissed off about the Winnipeg Jets game. So, Din, what was the thing that pissed you off the most about that?
That somehow Pionk and Spezza ended up with 8 total games of suspensions and 0 minutes of penalties. And then the bullshit Ian Cole knee that got him a game misconduct, got him a $5,000 fine. So it almost seems like the league was making an overcorrection because there was no penalty on the ice by giving more suspensions, or they're just trying to deter these things like knee turning into a fight, turning into a slash to the back of the fucking head. But that's the ref's job, not suspension's job. So I don't know. It's just there's no consistency, right? Like you saw it's so easy. You saw the knee by Cole, what was it, last night or 2 nights ago, and you go, oh, cool, that's the same as Pionk. So that's 2. But then you see Spezza get 6, who is not a repeat offender, and he got 6, which is the most game suspension in 8 years. And you're like, yeah, okay, fine. You're like, maybe they're trying to make an example of this. But then they gave Ian Cole a $5,000 fine. So you're like, maybe not. There's just no consistency. Like you have no idea what's going on, right? Like, and you already know that from the penalties and now from the Department of Player Safety. And like, there's just no consistency legitimately anywhere, ever.
Mark, what was the thing? And then I'm going to go off. What was the thing that pissed you off most about it?
Yeah, well, it's the same for both games. And it was just like what Din said, the reffing. Like, no one seems to know exactly what to call anymore. And like some penalties, it's like, how is that even a penalty? And then some, it's like, how did you not call a penalty? So it's just mind blowing. Frustrating.
I don't care if we get more penalties against this. Like, I just want to be able to know what I'm watching because I feel like a fucking idiot when I'm watching. I watch with my girlfriend. I'm like, oh, that's going to be a 2 minutes. And nothing happens. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't fucking know, I guess. Right. Like I watched so many I never played like hockey growing up, but like, I know the NHL, like me and like the other boys, like that I know will chat about like the hit, like the Kara hit. And everyone's like, that's old school hockey. I'm like, yes, guys, it's old school hockey. Technically it's okay. But the NHL doesn't want that. Right. So I'm pretty well versed because I didn't play. I don't have this like shroud of like, oh, that's how we were taught to play. Well, guys, that was 20 years ago when Darcy Tucker was fucking full-blown skating guys in the goddamn boards, which I love. But that's not what the NHL wants anymore. Like, and now I thought I was pretty well versed on what the NHL is trying to do, and I don't have a fucking clue. But the cool thing and neat thing is neither do they. So I guess we all don't know what's going on.
Yeah, when growing up on trips to games, they would play the Rock'em Sock'em Don Cherry hits.
Have you watched those? Watch them. It'll be a guy who like never played in the NHL again and like fucking like
and no penalties, let alone
he's like, good old, like you gotta keep your head up, and the guy's like dead.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
the guy's he's like convulsing on the ice. He's like, gotta keep your head up. Good fucking hard hit. You're like, Jesus.
I'm pretty sure the Stevens hit on Paul Kariya is on that. With like some hardcore AC/DC music behind it. Boo, guys, head is just 10 years gone from his life. Gone. And it's just
I was just about to say that. I was like, Hells Bells, 15 years off his lifespan.
Yeah. Right? Don Cherry's like, well, you gotta keep your head up.
In and out of hospitals for the rest of his life.
Yeah. But okay, let's get back to the thing. And this is what pissed me off the most. The consistency obviously is an issue, but literally right after Dubois, on his only shift that he played for the rest of the fucking period, knees Wall in the head. He turned around immediately because he knew what he did, and he was expecting guys to go right after him. Nothing, absolutely nothing. No one even took a look at it. And then everyone in Winnipeg is saying like, well, Spezza, and no one's questioning Spezza should have got a suspension. Absolutely.
No, he should have.
No one's questioning that Pionk should have gotten a suspension. the thing that I think that they said that Spezza got 6 games for, which still doesn't make, you know what? If you want to make it, no, it's premeditated, right? So
retaliation. Yeah.
So, but Pionk, like, I don't know how much of a difference between premeditated. I guess you want to set a standard because if people do premeditated shit like that.
But no. But Paul Maurice said this is stuff that carried over from last year, so it's still premeditated, is it not?
Right. And Pionk did a knee on knee on, or no, it was a headshot on Marner. It was a headshot on Marner last year after the whistle at the end of a game. And this is the same shit that Mark Scheifele did in Montreal last year.
Sandin had that big hit on Wheeler.
Yeah.
Which was one of those things that was clean, but it's also like what I talked about before. I don't think the NHL wants it, but it was clean. But it's like the Kyra thing. Like, I think it was clean, but like Trouba should not have done that. It's like a faux pas, right? It's like an unwritten rule, I'm sure now, that it's like, yo, why the fuck are you knocking our guys out, right?
Yeah.
Like, we don't want to play that game right now. We're playing hockey.
and I'm honestly, I'm okay with this Spezza suspension. It's just like Tom Wilson last year got less time than that for rubbing a guy's face into the ice after the whistle.
No. Tom Wilson didn't get time. Tom Wilson got $5,000.
Oh, and here's even better. And they did bring this up on Steve Dango's podcast, but Brendan Lemieux for biting both of Tkachuk's hands got less games than that.
You think like, yo, imagine biting someone at your work.
Yeah. I mean, during COVID, you can like too,
yeah,
you know, like, it's just
fucking protocols, buddy. Protocols.
So it's just, I'm okay. Maybe Spezza needs a break anyways, you know, like it's probably but the thing that did really irritate me once again was the Dubois thing, where it was a clear knee on Joseph Wall's head, defenseless, and like nothing happened to it. I don't even think he got a penalty on the play. Nope. So it's just like, where is and that you don't think that that's premeditated? You don't think that he's like pissed off because it's Dubois and he thinks he's super tough, even though he played one shift in the rest of the period after jumping on Matthews.
Yeah. And they talked about that on SCP. Weird. They talked about that on the SCP being like, oh, like smart business by Maurice. Okay, fair. But like, also like if you're a good coach, it's like, hey man, you need to go back out there. Right. I don't need to know if you need to answer the bell, but you look like a bitch.
Well, also, I just want everyone who says that Leafs are soft to take a look at how he didn't go back out there. And like, it's just like, they're obviously not a soft team. If they were a soft team, they wouldn't have cared. Just send him back out there. So it's just, it was an absolutely ridiculous decision. If you're going to have some consistency, Pionk, and I know you can't suspend people based on the amount of injury that it sustains to the other person, because that sets a poor precedent. Right. But like,
unless maybe it's like concussion, which I guess would be on the Spezza side, but we can get into that Pionk, whatever concussion protocol bullshit that happened.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, he played the rest of the game. So like,
they didn't look at all.
The thing is, you know, if he did have a concussion, we look like assholes, but is that not the exact reason why they can get away with doing it? Because they know if someone questions it, they're the asshole, right? Maybe. We're the assholes for saying they could be lying, right? We are.
Yeah.
But that's the exact reason why you can get away with it. Oh, he got a shoulder injury, right? That we can be like, that's a bunch
but that's a thing. Where's what if Joseph Wall got a concussion? You saw him after that hit. He was like, he was in the net going like,
or I mean, we can go back to the game before where Campbell got fucking knocked.
Exactly. And nothing on Foligno. That one.
Nothing. That was insane. Because usually that ends up being an interference call on the defenders or goalie interference call on the forward. Mm-hmm. That always happens. It's always a penalty in those situations. But nothing, right? Like, fucking screw up the call and say we pushed him into it. Like, if no one just hits the goalie in the crease, you know what I mean? Because either it's someone's fault if the goalie gets hit in the crease, it's someone's fault. Either the defender throws a guy into him, or which could be interference, roughing, whatever, or opposite, it's the guy with the puck skating into him.
Well, and see, this is the other thing too, is like if the NHL is all about setting precedents, which it seems like they are, even though they're not consistent whatsoever. Austin Matthews gets like just jumped essentially by Dubois. If you do that on the street, now granted, a lot of things you do in the arena, if you do on the street, you're going to jail. But if you do that, like that's
any other game,
right?
It's also like
so it's
also like He's grabbing him by the back of the jersey. Matthews can't even do anything. And it's exactly like when they faced the Habs in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
When he was getting dummied around, he was laughing and he drew a penalty.
So that's what
he was saying. I was like, okay, whatever. He drew a penalty. Don't get up and do something stupid, which I still think like, what were you? He got up and kind of pushed him. That's got to be the least amount of retaliation you could possibly do without just skating away.
Yeah. So here's my point is that if you're looking to set a precedent and you give them match minors for Matthews not doing anything, what's stopping Matthews from getting up next time and punching Dubois right in the head?
Exactly.
Right. If you're going to get a match,
but there's no consistent. But there's no. Yeah. Fair.
Like you might as well just, like Matt.
Yeah. You're not going to lose anything.
But the problem is the next time it might not be called like that. And you just no idea, which is the problem in 2, right? Like, even if you want to overcall the book, at least consistently overcall it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because then know.
If bullshit like that equals a match penalty, at least we know.
Yeah.
At least when he does, because he did it, I was like, oh, cool, power play. And then it's like offsetting minors. I'm like, yeah, okay.
And then to top it all off was their winning celebration.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
Dude.
Is there anything better than beating the Leafs? Okay, first of all, Jets, you're like 10 points behind the Leafs in the standings in a trash division. Secondly,
Game 26. Wait. No. Back to back, third string goalie, Marner out, just lot like in Winnipeg on the road. Like there's like 5 or 6 different like intrinsic factors that make it that they wouldn't give a shit. Right? They would tell you why they wouldn't give a shit. Or that they'd be tired or didn't give a shit. Right?
I saw a tweet about that, and it was just like, this is why the Leafs are like the biggest organization in the NHL, because they live in every other NHL team's head rent free.
So embarrassing.
Okay, and here's the other ththing. Mark Scheifele, this is a message to you because you definitely watch this podcast. You've played in 18 games, buddy, and you have 14 points. And 6 of them had come in the last 2 games. So before that, you had 16 games with 8 points. So, and a -3 on a winning team. So I'm just saying, like, before you start like saying, is there anything better than the Leafs? Why don't you actually start putting together a halfway decent season on a team that's guaranteed not getting out of the first round? Leafs, yeah, we're Leafs fans. We haven't got out of the first round in our entire lives, basically. But we actually have some superstars on our team. If Mark Scheifele is your best player, you're not going anywhere because the guy's a fucking joke.
You can say first round exit all you want. Our team is actually good. Like, You know what I mean? Like, that's why people don't like us. People hate that we have 4 superstars that are more fun to watch than their best player.
Yeah. All they do, look how much you're paying them.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I can pick like 9 guys I can get a jersey from. Like, sick. Go buy a Josh Morrissey jersey. Good luck. Fuck. Like, well, what elite superstars jersey am I going to wear tonight? Oh no, it's too hard to pick.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's also just like, it's pretty tough of you to say all that when you don't play until like 4 months later, that's one of those things where it's just like,
I think that's the point.
Well, no, that's what I mean. It's just
because because it's 4 months.
And the thing also is, if the Leafs said, I don't know, and it's not even a rivalry. So I'm just trying to think like, okay, I can understand.
No, it's not.
I can understand if it was Boston and afterwards the guys were like, is there anything better than being the Bruins? Because we haven't, and we're rivals. But if it was like Calgary, and then after the game, like Tavares was like, hey boys, is there anything better than beating the Flames? I'd be like, shut up, man. Like,
we're going to the Stampeders game. Yeah. And the thing is, all the comments under that post was Leafs fans crying. Like, no, we're laughing at you, bro.
Yeah.
We played 24 hours later and won.
Yeah.
Or like 48 hours later and won.
We also have a way better record than you.
Yeah.
And
it was so weird.
Yeah.
But
it's really cool when you're in first, you can lose a game and then you're just like, oh, I don't care. Right? It's really neat.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to the next time we play them, because now I
don't even give a fuck. What like how, like, they're still gonna be in 20th and we're gonna be in the top 3 in the league. Like, I still don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
Like
The Jets are also
I hope
3-6-1.
Superstars.
They're 3-6-1 in the last 10
Because
years.
I already know they're going to try and grab Matthews next game, and he's literally going to do nothing again.
Yeah,
and
because he's going to be like, because at that point he's going to be like, I have 52 goals. What are we doing here?
Yeah, that's so fair.
I think he's got like 16 goals in his last 17. No, it's 13 in his last 14. He's like, I don't fucking care. Like,
yeah,
especially like, I'm sure when PLD was doing that, he was like, I've got like fucking, I think he's got 10 power play points. He's like, put me on the power play. I fucking dare you.
Yeah.
And then the refs just stupid, whatever. I honestly, is it even the refs' fault at this point, or is it the fact that they're allowed to get away with it? Would you just fuck up your job and not care if you didn't know that anyone actually there was any repercussions on?
Yeah, that's the other thing is like afterwards in most other leagues, like in the NFL is a good example. Like coaches will say stuff about how terrible the officiating is, get a fine, and it's whatever. But in the NHL, if Keefe says anything, I think was it Brad Myers? I don't know much of the refs' names, but I think it was Brad Myers who's the ref. If you say anything, that guy is just going to call shit against you just for fun every other time you play. So you can't say anything. If you're any of the players, you can't say anything because he's going to just call anything against you all the time. Honestly, I think they brought it up in the Steve Danko podcast that Matthews hasn't got a 5-on-5 penalty drawn the entire season so
he's
far.
Got two.
No
two,
way.
He's got two.
He does have
but
two.
still, it should be, But did you see? I saw the McDavid stat. That one's fun. 67th in the league, and then he mentioned how like the officiating, and he's first in the league since then in penalties drawn. I think it's top 5. It's top 5 for sure. I think it's first since then, and I think he's 5th total now.
Right.
So I think I like not to fucking stroke the Leafs ego here, but like if Matthews says something, would that not make the NHL listen? Their poster boy?
My actual point was that the fact that Matthews is one of the only players in the league who goes after refs, if you all remember his goal celebration, everything, that might have something to do with maybe refs not being the biggest fan of him, which means that they're not looking to get calls on him. But it's always, it's like this, and some people say it's just the NHL and the NFL. Aaron Donald, guy gets held every single play, no calls ever against. It's a lot of the time, like the star players aren't going to get calls against just because they're that good. You know,
they think it's almost too far. Like they want to scale them back. Well, that's the thing. They want to scale them back for parity, or maybe they think they're too good that this shouldn't even happen. I think that David should have like fucking 2 penalties drawn a game.
Well, and the thing with Matthews, Matthews a little bit more than McDavid, because McDavid is quicker, faster, but Matthews is stronger on his skates and he wins puck battles. So like even the guys who are hooking him, he's still winning the puck.
But there's a catch-22 here. If you start calling McDavid the way it's supposed to be, then there wouldn't be as many penalties. Because it would write itself.
Really.
It'd fix itself. People would stop. PLD wouldn't do what he just did. Right,
like, oh, maybe I shouldn't slash.
Okay, PLD's is a little bit different. We're talking like hooking and like slashings and little cross checks. Those people would stop doing it because they go, oh fuck, I can't get away with this anymore.
Yeah, well, It's like the little hook to the hands at the start of the season. We're getting all kinds of calls, and other than Tavares the other game in Winnipeg, in Minnesota, I haven't noticed anyone on either team really doing that play anymore because they've kind of got it out really quick. The cross-checking thing was funny because at the start of the year they're like, can't cross-check anyone at any time, and then they just gave up on that. They're like, cross-check anybody.
Yo, do you see the game last night where that fucking ref is like fucking on his hands and knees waiting for the cross-check? I forget what game it is, and he's waiting. He's sitting there staring at it. It's like that fucking Key and Peele skit. Do you remember the Key and Peele skit where the guys are in the end zone and the ref is waiting for him to fucking what was it? Like I forget what he like waiting for him to selly, and he was just waiting for him and staring at him, and the second he twitched threw the flag, and that's literally what the ref. I'm gonna make a meme out of that. That's gonna be good. But yeah, he's just waiting, and the second he taps him, he's like throws the hand up, and he's like, because he's waiting. He's
literally crouched, like you said. It was so weird.
Like he's like, you're gonna fucking do it. You're gonna fucking do it. I know it. You're gonna fucking cross check him.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, okay. So here's another question. That Winnipeg game happens in the playoffs. Do we view it any differently?
Yeah, because we'd lose and then we'd have a really, really upset podcast.
Taking the goal completely out of it. If we're just talking the physicality, if that game happens in the playoffs, do we still have the same mindset that we do in December?
Well, what's
Probably
our
not.
what's our mindset right now?
Because they usually let a little more go, so it always gets kind of more
I'm not
chippy.
even mad at I'm not even mad at Winnipeg. I think they're like a bunch of losers for the shit that happened after. And like I think like PLD on the bench is kind of like sus, but like I'm not mad at Winnipeg. What are they like? Okay, so Pionk and PLD found out that they could get away with everything, so they took advantage of it. If your boss wasn't checking in on you ever, would you do any work?
No, absolutely. I'm with you. I'm talking about the officiating.
Yeah.
Like, are we, and last year what happened
I would go
game
for
when
Sorry, go.
when in the Habs game, what you mentioned earlier, when Matthews was kind of getting ragdolled and it wasn't a match penalty. The guy just got a penalty, Matthews draw penalty. That's what I don't care if it's playoffs. I don't care if it's regular season. That's what needs to happen consistently every single time. I would still personally be pissed off if it was in the playoffs or regular season.
Yeah.
If the one guy doesn't do anything, but just because he's involved, that they both get penalties. And I would want that to happen for both teams.
It's so
like
dumb.
happened in grade school. Like if someone fought you in this playground, you both got fucking detention because it's like, well, you put yourself in that situation. It's like, hey, well, fuck you.
Yeah.
But like, what is this gonna say? Like, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Also,
it was a shit call. Yeah.
Didn't fucking brain is scrambled eggs.
Didn't Paul Maurice, wasn't he shouting at Wayne Simmons or Kyle Clifford?
Clifford.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
And it's
calling him a goon, which is like, yeah, but like, dude, like, did you not pay it? I think the thing is, once again, if the refs called the game properly, Clifford wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
Right. Like also
it
like
got out of hand.
the fucking refs not understanding math when they see 13 minutes on the scoreboard and giving Simmons a 10-minute misconduct and not realizing 13 minus 10 is 3 and he's going to be back on the ice. Guy's gone full fucking psycho Wayne train mode and they're like, no, you'll be fine in the last 3 minutes. You're going to calm down when you're in the box for the next 10 minutes, right? Right, Wayne, you're going to calm down. He goes, yep, I'm going to calm down for sure. Yeah, guys, for sure. I'm going to be calm down. Yep, just wait 10 minutes. I'll be calm. Watch. And then he gets out. He fucking fights another guy. Right? Like,
do you think if Wayne Simmons pulled a Brendan Lemieux, like what would that bite mark look like? Would it just be like gnawing on him? Just
be little gaps,
little
like,
gummy.
Fucking grandma giving you a gobby. Sorry. My bad.
It had to go to grandma, not grandpa. Come on now.
Oh, grandpappy. Stop.
All right. So after we've just been demonetized forever again, let's move on to some positive things because none of that was negative really about the Leafs, honestly. And I think that last game, even though it ended 5-4, the game was 5-2. I don't care what happened in between then. That like we were missing 4 guys to our lineup and not just any guys.
That's Sandy and Marner Dermott.
Yeah. And Steve's comes in, Rubens comes in. Rubens looked fine. Steve, he tried some things, which I always like seeing from a guy who's like coming up because usually they're going to like overcompensate. They'll, pass it when they don't need to. They'll kind of like rush. The guy was trying to dangle and stuff. And it was just like, it was cool to see. Yeah, he might as well. And he's trying
especially because he knows he's not going to like earn a spot right now. Yeah. But it's like, maybe it's like a more like, oh, remember that Steve's guy, what he was doing?
Yeah.
Right? Like he's not earning a spot. I don't think there's this fucking possibility that guy earns a spot in 3 weeks in the lineup.
No, especially with Mikheyev probably coming back anytime now. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
So and Joey Anderson looked fine. I think he'll be a fringe and he'll be kind of like an Adam Brooks kind of guy, like if you need him, but if he gets claimed off waivers, it's, we had to trade away Jansson's cap hit anyways. But Ho-Sang, I'm putting a question mark after that.
I think you just wait. Someone's going to get injured, right? We see it now. Someone's going to be out, right? And someone's going to be out, let's say it's 6 or 8 or 4 weeks from the playoffs. If we're in first place, you put him on the team, you fucking put the other guy on the injured reserve too long, wait till the playoffs, no cap hit, GG. Oh, seriously.
Tampa
That's what you do.
style.
It's
Yeah.
like, well, it's Tampa-ish, but like it's just smart, right? Like if anyone goes down, you just go, okay, sign Hosang. Okay, come on up. You're gonna get good for the playoffs. And then you have like a Galchenyuk, but kind of better version of a guy who can slot in the top 6 if you need that, if you don't need the toughness. Exactly what we did with Gelch, but I think probably a better version.
Yeah, definitely more upside, and and also just seemingly a little bit better of an attitude. The whole Gouch signing in Arizona when the Leafs offered him apparently over $1 million doesn't make too much sense to me. So
I want to say they didn't offer it. I have this weird feeling that they didn't, because like the guy signed a fucking PTO in Arizona.
It does seem like a lot of money to give to a guy. Like I would be like, if they tried to sign him to league min and he was like, no, I'm going to try my luck elsewhere, I could see it. If it was true that it was 1.2.
No, I heard 1, which is technically a pay cut by 50 grand. Maybe that has to do with it. Like I played well for you and I'm getting a pay cut, but it's like, buddy, you're going to Arizona.
Yeah, I think this is probably his last season. But let's
the best thing in Arizona is like Del Taco. Like Jack in the Box.
Wow, all of our Arizona fans have now tuned out.
Well, Arizona doesn't even have fans. You think we have fans? No fucking way.
Yeah. What do you guys think of Simmons on the first line? You think you keep that for the entire time that Marner's out?
Why not?
Who you said probably not?
I said why not?
Oh, okay. So what about Marner's 3-4 weeks? Is it?
Really?
From now.
Do you think that when Mikheyev comes back, they're going to be like, hey, man, you wanted these top 6 minutes. Here's your spot up next with Austin Matthews and Michael Bunting. I know you're shaking your head, but what do you think Keefe does?
I feel like he would. That's why we kept him.
I hope it's one of those things where it's like, all right, coach, I can do it. It's like, all right, Tommy, good luck. And Tommy just fucking gets embarrassed. And Tommy never asks to play on the top line anymore. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, buddy, good luck. Come on, Ilya, go get him. And then he gets back to the bench. He goes, no. And then you go, because Tommy, back to the third line you go.
What if he does well and then Mitch comes back? It's like, oh, all right, to the third line. He goes, yeah, but look at me.
Buddy, Mitch's dad would learn fucking Russian to tell Ilya to get back to the third line.
Oh, here's the other thing too, is Richie has looked like he's found a place on that third line. Not to mention he's played with Kasha in Anaheim a couple of years ago. Got his first goal the other night. So does Mikheyev take Richie's spot on that third line? Like, where does this guy even go? Because you're not moving Kerfoot, you're not moving Bunting. You better not move Bunting because he's been awesome.
No, I don't think they do that.
So, and does Richie? Do you put him on the fourth line? He looked okay there, but like he's been doing well on the third line. He seems to be keeping up.
I know this doesn't sound like a fun way to have a conversation, but someone's probably going to get hurt. I think it's going to write itself.
Right,
I think these things.
But let's talk. We can be ideal lineup.
I think the ideal lineup might even be having Richie on that fourth line
with Spezza Simmons.
Yeah,
but it's just so slow. Fourth line. Especially when other people's fourth lines are kind of starting to be fast, not as much skill. You want to at least somewhat be able to keep up to them. That's why I don't mind Engvall down there. He's looked good on the fourth line. That's why I just feel like Mikheyev is, we've always kind of felt he's a little bit expendable, especially with how good our penalty kills looked without him. That was the one thing where for me, I was like, he's always looked good on the penalty kill. He's got a lot of speed. He can get some chances, which he's going to miss the net or shoot right at the goalie's pads. But like now that our penalty kill is looking, I think we're 8th in the league. Anyways, top 10 for sure. Where does this guy go, especially someone who doesn't like where he deserves to be?
Yeah, there's no way he says to the fourth line, but he needs to go there.
Yeah.
Shit.
And also putting Richie at $2.5 million on the fourth line, whereas Mikheyev's making $1 million less. Like, you got to think about that also with the cap hit. And if we have a perfect lineup and everyone's in, there's going to be issues with that cap number. So
are you gonna start kind of making like different lineups based off different teams you face and like different scenarios, right?
I guess
these guys can sit, right? Like
I don't
if
know
we
if I
have
like.
a Revolve, I think Engvall is just out in general, right?
Do you think?
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Engvall, but the last couple weeks.
Yeah. Who do you bump?
Well, like Simmons can be you can make Simmons Spezza. Those Simmons Spezza plus one can be basically two guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, here's the difference between Engvall and Mikheyev for me, because I think they're somewhat similar players. Mikheyev has a little bit better skill, but Engvall can win draws and play center. And when you're looking at our center depth, it is a little bit weak on after our first three, and especially for the playoffs, if there is any injuries, that's when a guy like Engvall comes in handy, because who else do you have even in the minors to come up and play that center position?
Well, you don't have Alex Brooks or Adam Brooks. And you
don't
exactly have Semyonov. So
you have Engvall.
Yeah.
Right. So that's utility, unless you want to make a deadline move. And Riley Nash was just claimed off first by Tampa.
Are we even gonna make a deadline move?
I honestly hope that we don't. I'm good with this team.
Keep my first round pick, please.
Yeah.
Right. Unless like Mrazek and Wall end up both kind of being shit somehow, or like whatever, maybe you grab like a backup goalie, but like that'd be it.
Yeah.
I don't think something bad would have to happen.
So do we think Hall and Dermott are both staying?
70.
Yeah,
actually, technically, do we have 8 now?
With Rubens, yeah, he looked all right. He looked
okay.
Good.
Never mind. No, we have 7.
Yeah,
but no, keep 7. Right? Like when someone gets hurt, how nice is it to be like, oh, we're not fucked.
Well, here's the other thing too to consider, and I know we're going way into the weeds, but I know I'm obsessed with Mark. Yeah. I'm obsessed with Mark Giordano, but Seattle's not making the playoffs. He's expiring contract. We're going to have room by the end of the season, especially if anyone's on IR. You trade Dermott and a 3rd round pick for Mark Giordano. You slot him on. Your defense is best in the league.
I'm fine if Dermott or Hall is somehow getting packaged for another defenseman. I think that's it.
Well, and here's the other thing to consider too, is like if you trade Dermott,
somehow package one of the shitty bottom 6s for a better version of the bottom 6.
But
right.
Oh, right. But like I like Kasha. I like Comp.
I like our bottom
Spezza, Simmons. Yeah. The other two are just guys that you put in there.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking about things from a team which this Kraken are going to be a little bit, they're not the Vegas Golden Knights. They're going to be rebuilding. They're going to need young guys to come up and play good minutes. Look at Nate Schmidt. You could make an argument that him and Dermott are a little bit similar. Nate Schmidt was Dermott in Washington.
Schmidt's got more term, like 5.8.
I'm just right. Okay. But before, this is when he was taken. Right. Okay. He was a guy who was fringe 6th guy on the Washington Capitals, which was a contending team. They traded him. He played top line minutes with the Golden Knights. He turned into a good player, got a good contract. Dermott put into a higher role where he doesn't have space right now. You clear $1.5 million for next year because you have to re-sign Liljegren and Sandin to fill out that top 6. Those are your guys. I don't know, something like that. If you go after a veteran defenseman on an expiring contract, I'm okay with trading a guy like Travis Dermott because you use that money to re-sign Sandin to a bridge deal and Liljegren to either a long-term or bridge deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't need, like, is anyone even interested in like names like Philip Forsberg and stuff? Like, I'm going to shut the fuck up and obviously say if we trade for him, I'm going to be ecstatic, but like,
I'll be excited.
Who do you trade
for?
Like,
I want him.
Who do you do?
Well, the thing is, I don't want to trade any fucking 1st or 2nd round pick.
It also means you've lost Jack Campbell.
Yes, automatically.
Yeah.
So
and Sandin, and probably Sandin and or Liljegren.
And yeah. So if it's not a draft pick, it's one of them, or like a Mirov, and like no.
Yeah. No, I'm our top 6. I'm good with Bunting playing up there. He's going to be a perfect playoff player.
Yeah, he's been everything we wanted.
Yeah.
Well, and like, and 2, if this team's playing more like it's playing more like an actual team, I don't want to fuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. But like, part of me says that and then goes, "Oh, I'm ready to be disappointed again." Right? Because I just called them a team, and then they're going to somehow find a way to look like a bunch of like It's gonna. Oh,
See, this year's different for me because I view certain games as games that we lose the last 5 years. And last game against Columbus was one of those games where you come off a tough loss to Minnesota, and then you come off getting not embarrassed, but you come off a shit game against Winnipeg, and you go against a team that you definitely should beat. And in the past, we lose the game to the Columbus Blue Jackets. That's just how it always went. And we ended up just demolishing them basically until the last 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Or like
without Mitch Marner, without Jason Spezza, without Dermott, without Sandin, we did that.
Yeah, and or like the Tampa game reminds me of that too, where we were up 3-1. No, we were down 3-1, and we came back, tied it, went to overtime. I'm like, oh, this is a game we lose in overtime. This is a game we come back, looks amazing, and fucking lose somehow, and we won.
Yeah,
so
and even
Winnipeg,
like that. Minnesota, like we're down 3-1 against a really good defensive team, and we come back and tie it. Like this team just seems different, and I'm almost excited for the next few weeks when we are missing some of our main guys to see guys step up and get their shot. And also, we were talking about this at the start of the year. Austin Matthews needs to be a guy that you can plug in any two guys next to, and he's still going to be the best player on the ice. And last few games, even without Mitch Marner, he has been that guy. Yeah. And then you're just adding Mitch Marner to him later on. And it's just like John Tavares isn't that guy anymore. So I like how they've kept Willie and Kerfoot on that. I like how they kept that line super stable because they look awesome. Nylander is almost one of those guys where you can play him with anybody and he's still.
Oh, no. He is.
Yeah, so we have three of those guys.
He to me, dollar for dollar, more than Matthews. Dollar for dollar.
Dollar for dollar.
Like,
okay.
Yeah, dollar for dollar, more than Matthews. Because you kind of look at dollar for dollar because you look at like Matthews plus $2 million guys equals 15 million. Let's say you want to equate 15 million on Nylander's line, so like 4 and 4, better.
Yeah,
like if you want to look at it like that.
Yeah. But let's move on to our last thing because running out of time here for Din, and we're going to do a little contenders pretenders segment based on the current standings of the NHL, and we're going to make
whip these up.
I have them right here for you guys if you want as well.
I'll open it up too. Are you just going through standings?
Yeah.
Overall standings? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Go to overall.
Let's not overall. Sorry, I'm doing like playoff picture.
Okay, so division?
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now in the Atlantic Division, Leafs, Panthers tied. Panthers 2 games. Lightning just behind them. And then it's a drop off. We got Red Wings. Yeah. We got Bruins. Bruins with a ton of games in hand. So like keep that in mind.
Did they get COVID or something? Why is it like that?
At the start of the year, they played a lot less games, and I think it's been kind of steadily evening out, but they played a lot less games at the start. Yeah. So in that Atlantic Division, I think we can safely rule out the Sabres, Canadiens, and Senators from playoff spots.
Yeah.
Definitely the Canadiens.
Right.
They suck.
Do you guys think that the Red Wings have any shot, or are they a pretender at this point?
They're the fourth place team, in my opinion. So
you think they're above the Bruins?
No, they're fifth.
Oh, that seems Detroit's only going to get better throughout the year. Why? What would other than Rask coming back? What would make the Bruins be better?
Well, okay, so the Bruins are only 4 points behind.
I know, and they have 5 games. I get it, okay. Are we talking contender for because neither of them are?
No, not the cup. We're talking about playoffs. Just making the playoffs.
I think. Okay, well, I think Red Wings are gonna. This is just going too in depth, but Red Wings are gonna end up being a better points percentage right at the end of the season than they are now because they're only going to get better. Does that mean Bruins are going to not be ahead of them? Probably not. Bruins just find a way to Bruin it. You know what I mean? But I think that's more an expression of the Bruins doing really, really well, not an expression of the Red Wings not doing well.
Okay, fair enough. That's a bold prediction, but and also the Red Wings have a -10 goal differential. So interesting how that works, but there's some games which skew that out of like the Leafs lost to Pittsburgh really fucked up our goal differential for a while.
Or that's what happens when you have Thomas Grace with the 3.4 goals against average, maybe.
Right. Well, that's another reason that goaltending is a question mark on a young team. You need a good goalie. That's what we saw with I was going to say Vegas, but I guess a newer team. Now let's move on to the Metro Division.
Yep.
We got the Caps, Rangers, Hurricanes, pretty solid, same as the Atlantic in the top three. And then we got the Penguins and Blue Jackets. So this is, I think we all with that the Rangers are going to be one of the top three teams?
I hope so. I want them to be good. Like, you look at their lineup and you're like, how aren't you good? Igor is out though.
They're 17, 4, and 3.
But
That's
isn't
crazy.
Igor out for a bit?
Right, but don't isn't their backup like just as they have two really good young goalies, don't they?
I don't know. Can anyone tell me if there's a difference between a 2.05 goals against and a 3.36?
Who's the other guy?
Goryev.
Hmm.
He's poop. He's got a fucking 8.82.
Fair, but they've won 7 in a row. They're 9-1 in their last 10, and I just don't see anyone other than Pittsburgh challenging them in there because the Islanders suck this year. The Flyers have lost 9 in a row. They just fired everyone.
They just fired everyone. So.
Yeah. Devils
Panic.
are not good, and Blue Jackets are a anomaly. So
Yeah.
really, this division that we viewed was going to be like a really good division is looking pretty weak, especially with the Islanders and Flyers being shit. So
Yeah.
my prediction is that it's the Leafs, Panthers, Lightning, Capitals, Rangers, Hurricanes, Penguins, and Bruins are the wild card teams, and the Leafs finish second in division and end up playing the Panthers in the first round.
Penguins kind of remind me of the Bruins in the way that they're just going to get in
Yeah.
somehow. They, and they might end up being fourth, and they might end up being second. And it's just you're just going to be like, I guess so.
Yeah.
Right?
Are we all
Rangers,
on?
Dude,
Yeah.
imagine if the fucking Rangers had Kako with more than 8 points and with fucking Lafreniere with more than 6.
Well, that's
Like,
those guys are only going to
Imagine
get
if
better.
they were good. Oh, bold statement. They don't have to get better.
Lafreniere has to get better. Kako is one of those guys where you can kind of look and be like, is he kind of like a Jesse Puljujarvi at this point? Where that's just
Puljujarvi's decent. Fuck.
right, but
Well, I
Puljujarvi
guess
is now like
Puljujarvi's like
25,
23.
26.
No, I think he's like 23, 24, but I digress. You're right.
Yeah. Puljujarvi didn't even play in his first like 3 years because he was so
Ryan Reeves
liked
has
him.
the same points percentage as
Oh
Lafreniere.
no.
Yeah. That's rough.
Yeah, shit.
Got more points per minute. So there you go.
So do we see anyone who's out of the playoff picture right now in either of those
No.
divisions making it?
No, because
Just,
those bottom
Bruins
3 teams
swap
are
with
so
Bruins. Right. Bruins
Yeah.
swap with
Yeah.
Red Wings. Yeah.
Yep.
bad. And Metro, those bottom teams are just so bad.
But also, how
Yeah.
nice would it be if the Leafs come first and we play the Red Wings and the Red Wings get into the final?
Oh
wild card?
my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, if we face the Bruins and then we lose, we'll get a lot more viewers, which will be cool.
we're winning the cup this year.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the Western Conference.
Okay.
Okay.
A division that we thought, well, both divisions we thought were going to be ass, and there's some surprise teams here. A lot of surprise in the NHL so far this season. The Wild looked legit. That game against the Leafs, that was one of the best like just hockey games that I've seen this
Yeah, it was
season.
fun.
That was wild.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that game didn't give me the blues.
Oh.
Wow.
It
I have
made
an,
my-
I have
it
an
made my-
avalanche of emotions right now.
Yeah, there's an avalanche in my pants watching it.
There's a predator, and anyways, no.
I only like the Blackhawks. Sorry.
Oh.
All right. Okay.
Go wild.
Wow. Okay. Let's get back on. Those were good though. Those were good. We almost did every single one.
Yeah.
So I think that probably makes Din the star of the show. Wild first place.
We sound like predators.
I was trying to figure out a non.
Boys, I'm gonna jet. Okay. Hey.
Stop.
Yeah.
We're gonna lose our last viewer.
Yeah. He just turned it
No.
off.
Don't leave. Come back.
All right. Did we get every single one? Oh no, we didn't get the Coyotes. Well, we'll save it. No one cares for the
No one cares about the Coyotes, yeah.
NHL team. Okay, serious question. Do the Coyotes What place do they finish in the AHL?
Well, they would just try and still tank. So last,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
they would
It's
just
one of
find
those divisions where you the last 2 place teams goes down to the ECHL and the top 2 teams in the ECHL go up.
I would
The-
love that.
that would be so.
How's that for parody, Bettman? Fuck you.
Yeah, the Coyotes and the Sens just go down to the AHL and up come
I
the
wonder
Manitoba
if there's
Moose.
is there any AHL teams that are valued more than the Coyotes? Because I think the Coyotes are valued at 400 million.
Ooh. Maybe honestly the Marlies. Wouldn't you say? If
Yeah.
anything, it would have to be the Marlies because I don't think anyone else would care. But I mean, even Marlies get like a couple.
But I
thousand fans.
wonder if they're that's a part of the value. I think actually,
Right.
like the Marlies' value is a part of it. Okay, moving on.
So Wild first, Blues second, Preds third. Avalanche have a few games in hands. I think we can all agree that the Avalanche are at least going to come top 2. I think Avalanche and Wild are the pride of that division. Are we all on the same page?
Does this division not look like shit?
No, Stars won 7 in a row after starting atrociously.
But
Jets-
like I look at anyone scared?
no, that's
No,
just what,
that's what I
like,
mean.
The path to the cup in the Western Conference, like it's so much easier.
like before the season started, I'd be like, I'd be kind of worried playing Colorado, and now I'm like,
Yeah, I still am because it's
Yeah.
called they could be good, but I mean,
well,
Darcy
you
Kemper-
also you also don't have to play against Kadri.
yeah.
Right?
Well,
Because
the first game you do,
Yeah. By the final, he'll be out for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, the Jets also currently are in the playoffs. So is there anything better than making the playoffs? No, let's start with that, Shifley. So do the Predators sneak in to the playoffs from that? I think the Blues Wild
Predators
Avalanche-
are pretty good at sneaking into places. So,
oh,
Oh man.
oh,
yeah, I think so. Right? Fucking UC Saros is fucking good, eh? You can ride any hot goalie into the playoffs.
Yeah, well, look at what they did for Pecorino for years
yeah,
and years.
they'll be. I think it'll come fourth. Just them and, well, I'd say Colorado switch, but Colorado could finish even higher probably.
I honestly don't think the Jets are going to make the playoffs this year.
No,
They're not.
No.
They're not.
No,
Because
they're
as much as I say I'm not scared of anyone in that division, it's a pretty good division. Like still, like objectively, like there's not like obviously the Blackhawks and Coyotes are a complete joke, but those other 6, and like I'll loop kind of Winnipeg in there. Like those are all decent teams.
yeah,
Like at the start of the season, I wouldn't have said the Blues and Preds, but like obviously that's not the case, right? So
are the Wild the Leafs of the Western Conference?
well, other than the opposite being irrelevant, yeah.
No, that's my point. No one talks about them. They've been into
Yeah.
the playoffs with like somewhat high expectations, never cup contenders, but somewhat high expectations for years and years, and can't get out of the first round
they're the Sharks.
of the past. Yeah, except the Sharks
Yeah.
actually made it through some
Yeah,
rounds.
1 year, but for a long time,
Yeah,
they were just
true.
out in the
I
first
honestly
round.
thinking having Kaprizov is going to help so much. Actually, having someone that can take over a game.
Yeah, and not
Like,
having to
'cause-
play the Golden Knights with
Yeah.
Fleury in the first round. That'll help.
That'll definitely help.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Stars, are we all on the same page? Stars probably going to sneak in there. I think
so.
Oh,
I think Preds and Jets probably fall out into that wild card race. And then Blackhawks, Coyotes suck. So Pacific Division, Flames, I would have not guessed that they would be here. Same with the Ducks. Golden Knights, I still think they're going to take the division. I just
Well,
think
Eichel and Stone are going to be back
yeah.
with like 2 months left. Like, is anyone not thinking that they're not going to win like every
Oh,
fucking game?
So people
They
who
also-
want to bet on divisions,
They also have the Olympics to come back, right? Like it's
Yeah.
a longer season, right?
yeah,
frig.
that might be a
So-
good bet for some people because their odds are probably not as good right now.
Look at that.
Well, let's take a look-see right now. Yeah. You guys want to go in on a little bet here? Any
Yeah.
viewers want to get in? Send money to my email. I'll definitely put it down.
Yeah.
I bet you the odds are either really, really good or just like, what the fuck? I got a $5 free bet. Let's go, boys.
Well, Golden Knights win the division. I think Kings, Kraken, Canucks are totally out. I would like to see
Krakens, Canucks. Yeah.
I would love to see the Flames and Oilers play in a first round playoff series.
That would be a fun series.
That would, because I think the Golden Knights probably take it. Ducks probably going to fall off. Sharks and Ducks battle for a wild card. I think Flames and Oilers are 2 and 3.
You want to hear not a bad bet? So Flames 2.4. We're talking just 2.4x. 2.5 for the Oilers, 3.0 for the Knights. Guess what the Ducks are at?
What?
They're the next team. 21 times payout. Like I get it's the Ducks. Yeah, but none of those look good other than the Ducks. Like they're close to the Sharks. Does anyone think that's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Interesting. No, it's gonna be Knights, Oilers, Flames, and then probably the Ducks.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I don't think the Sharks have what it takes anymore, especially in a longer season with how many old guys they have.
Mm-hmm.
And still,
but they'll have more people turning 65. They'll get better seniors discounts, cheaper food.
That's true.
So they always have that to play into.
But yeah, I think that Flames Oilers series would be absolutely.
I want that.
Yeah, I want that for sure. I want Leafs Bruins and Flames Oilers. I want the Bruins first round. I want them now.
I want the Bruins when they're just so beat up and like we're expected to win by like a mile and we just squeak by and we're just like, let's fucking go. Even though like Rask is out, Bergeron's hurt, fucking DeBrusk is traded. We should fucking destroy them. And we just squeak by and we're basically the Jets from fucking Sunday.
Yeah.
What's better than beating the Bruins? We just squeak by. They have no players playing.
We will be yelling that too.
That's literally like the Raptors against the Warriors when we won the championship.
Yeah.
No one's playing.
The Golden State fucking is definitely like, fuck, we already lost. And we're like, well, it's going to be close, guys. Got to pull this one out. Pascal Siakam's like, if I shoot 35%, we might win.
Okay, last question of the day, and we'll have to remember this prediction. Who finishes higher between the Canucks, the Habs, and the Sens this season? What is your 1 through 3 rankings?
You know what? Canucks first.
That's me. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Habs second, Sens third. I just don't see I said that the Sens, if they were going to go off last season, would end up being middle of the pack. That's not the case. I was right all along. They need to make some signings like the Leafs did. They should have traded for Jack Eichel. They need some better players in there.
Who?
The Sens.
Right. Yeah. It would just take an owner that actually wants to do money on literally anyone.
Yeah. I'll call up Eugene.
The fact that they didn't re-sign Mark Stone, they're not going to go get Jack Eichel.
Yeah.
But they could. So like,
absolutely they could. They have a great system right now.
Yeah.
No, they'll just sign 12 third liners to $4 million contracts.
And a goalie that has had one good playoff run to a $5 million contract and bury him in the AHL.
Hey, sometimes you have to give a goalie that's trying to have a prove me deal a 5-year contract. Sometimes you just Matt's definitely sitting there going, I'll take 1/6. And they're like, well, we're already fucking $10 million under the floor. Let's try and get lower. Matt, can you do 5/5? And he goes, what? And his agent goes, what? And Eugene's sitting there with one eye staring at the ceiling, the other eye staring at his toes. And he goes, yeah, that's right.
And Dorian's just like, can I get in on this conversation? Or can I come out of my cage now?
Dorian's not in the room.
No, he's definitely, he's chained up for sure. He's the gimp in there. Can I please make a decision? Me and Jim Benning want to make a decision. We're both tied up.
Sorry, guys. I'm actually all tied up. I won't be able to make the meeting.
Quite literally. All right. And
Nux Habs Sens.
Okay. And one last question for the Western Conference between the Blackhawks, Coyotes, Kraken, Canucks, and Kings. What is your one team that you think could possibly make it into the playoffs?
Who?
between Blackhawks, Coyotes, Kings, Kraken, Canucks.
What's funny is I was sarcastically going to say who. Did you say it sarcastically?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I thought you were saying it like you couldn't hear him, and I'm like,
Make the playoffs?
I go in Kings. That's the
Are they
It's
are they making an expanded playoffs with 28 teams or
honestly within the next 3 seasons, every team will make the playoffs for parity. Yeah.
does that mean we're gonna make the playoffs?
oh,
Yeah.
please.
I say Kings because I took them to make the playoffs earlier this season during our
Nice.
predictions.
Yeah. Yeah, it has to be the Kings.
Nice.
It literally has to.
Maybe the
Like-
Coyotes if I get it together.
And does Matthews
they
have any
agree.
chance to win the Rocket?
He's fucking like 3 goals out. He's gonna win the Rocket. I'm gonna put money on it right now.
Over Ovi and Draisaitl? All right. Love it.
Ovi's 900 years old.
Yeah, and he still puts up goals.
Yeah, but
Just has
Austin
to stand at
Matthews.
the hash marks.
But Austin Matthews is my favorite player, so therefore I am biased.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the end of. I wanted to kind of get to some of the prospects because they're
Oh, God.
kind of really good
Every-
articles. But no, there's a good list of all the
Yamla.
prospects. Yeah, Topi. Yeah, we got to mention him. I think actually I will mention him super quick. He's just got named to Team Finland. So,
No way.
Yeah.
Like the men's team or the juniors?
No, World Juniors. So we get to
That'd be
see
pretty
him
fucking
there.
cool, though.
Him and Roni Hirvonen, we get to see in the World Juniors. Do we ever have a Canadian in the World
I
Juniors?
feel like we never do. We had a goalie, I think, once.
Joseph Wall.
Joseph Wall. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
And that was, I think that's the last one.
Wait, is Wall Canadian or
oh
American?
no, Justin Pogge.
True. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for this
yeah.
one. Goalies, I think we're all super happy about them. Jason Spezza take a well-deserved time off. I really hope the boy like Matthews and Marner are just like, you know what? Let's split. The guy's taking $750,000. Let's split his suspension. I think it was $25,000 that he got fined. Let's just
pay it.
split it. Yeah, let's pay it.
Yeah,
I really
really.
hope the boys come together and do that. And Jason will be like, no, stop, guys. I'm your dad. You don't need to do that.
Oh no, guys, I got this. Don't worry.
Come on, boys. That's enough.
All right. Peace out.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Peace, love, and Roadhawk, and keep your stick on the ice.